Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a game that had been blowing up on 2021 in Steam and got great reviews from players and critics, but now the game is officially on Xbox and on Game Pass, so if you have an Xbox Game Pass subscription, you can try it now. If you're a fan of survival games, Vikings, or both like me, I've spent quite a few hours playing it myself, then you're going to want to stick around for this review. So let's dive in and see what this game is all about. Valheim is an open-world RPG Viking survival game developed by Iron Gate Studio and published by Coffee Sting Studios. The game has been released for Windows and Linux on Steam since February 2, 2021, and got a big fan base due to its unique blend of survival and exploration mechanics, but now it's released on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S on March 14, 2023. In Valheim, you will take a role of a Viking warrior who must fight, survive, and make himself worthy in this dangerous and wild environment by gathering resources, building shelters, and crafting weapons and tools to fend off hostile creatures and other players. Players will find plenty of customization options to make their gaming experience even more fun and immersive. Valheim's story is inspired by Norse mythology and Viking culture. Player takes on the role of a Viking warrior who has died in battlefield and been sent to the mythical land of Valheim by Odin and tasked with defeating Odin's ancient rivals known as the Forsaken, each one of them representing an aspect of Valheim's lore and mythology, to progress through the game and earn place in Valhalla, the great hall of the fallen warriors in Norse mythology. Valheim's story is not explicitly told through cutscenes or dialogue, but rather through the game's environment and lore. Players can discover runes and artifacts scattered throughout the world, which provide clues about the game's backstory and mythology. Additionally, the game's community-driven development process encourages players to speculate and collaborate on the game's lore and backstory, adding to the game's immersive storytelling. Overall, Valheim's story is a rich and immersive experience that is based on Norse mythology, but is up to the players to explore and uncover its secrets by venturing deep into the game's vast and mysterious world. In Valheim, open world refers to the game's vast and procedurally generated world, which is fully explorable and allows players to roam freely without restrictions. The game's open world design means that players have the freedom to explore the world at their own pace, discover new biomes, and encounter new enemies and resources. The open world in Valheim has a beautiful diversity. It is divided into biomes, each with its own unique environment and set of challenges. For example, the Black Forest biome is filled with dangerous creatures like trolls and skeletons, while the Swamp biome is shrouded in mist and home to venomous creatures like leeches and blobs. The game's open world also features a dynamic day and night cycle, weather system, and seasonal changes, which all contribute to the immersive experience. Overall, Valheim's open world design provides players with a vast and immersive world to explore and allows them to play the game in a way that suits their individual playstyle. As we said, the game's world is divided into biomes, each with its unique terrain, creatures, challenge, and value-add treasure. It can be overwhelming for new players to know where to start, but with the right guidance, you can easily get started on your journey through. The game encourages players' curiosity of exploring the unknown, and they never know what they will find around the next corner. As players explore, they will uncover new locations, resources to craft new weapons, tools, and structures. You can too discover the variety of the enemies to fight and challenge you. As we said in the first part, exploring it's not just about gathering resources or fighting enemies, it is also about uncovering the game's lore and history. Players can find runestones which contain cryptic messages that hint at the game's mythology, as well as other clues and pieces of information about the world of Valheim. Overall, exploration is an essential pillar of Valheim's gameplay, as it allows players to progress and discover new things. It also adds to the game's sense of adventure, discovery, and challenge. Exploring in Valheim is an immersive and rewarding experience that encourages players to take their time and fully immerse themselves in the game's world. Surviving like exploring is a main pillar on Valheim, because it's your main goal in the game. To survive, you need to manage a variety of different resources and stats. There are several factors to keep in mind in order to stay alive. First, we have hunger meter. The player must eat regularly in order to keep their health and stamina up. Food can be found in the game world by harvesting berries, mushrooms, and other plants, or by hunting animals and cooking their meat. Different types of food provide different benefits. When a progress in the game, you will unlock more recipes to cook and get more benefits from it. Another source you need to manage is your health. Damage from enemies, falls, or environment like cold or poison will decrease your health. Player can restore his health by using bandages, eating food, healing spells, or sleeping. Then we have stamina. Running, jumping, and attacking all drain stamina. And if it runs out, players will become exhausted and unable to act for a short time. Stamina can be restored by resting or by eating certain foods, and players can also increase their maximum stamina by consuming certain items. Overall, by managing these resources and avoiding hazards, players can survive and thrive in Valheim's challenging game world, and mastering these mechanics is essential to progress through the game's world and defeat its bosses. Crafting and surviving are connected to each other. As we said, to survive, we need to manage your hunger, health, and stamina resources. To do that, we need to provide some items by crafting them. Valheim's crafting system is deep and complex, with a wide range of items and structures that players can create, from weapons, armor, and cooking food to building houses, castles, and villages. The crafting system in Valheim is based on a tiered progression system. Players start with basic tools and structures and gradually unlock more advanced ones as they progress through the game's world. As players gather resources and craft items, they will gain experience points in various skills such as woodcutting, mining, and archery. As these skills increase, players will unlock new crafting recipes and be able to craft more powerful and advanced items. For example, players must first craft a stone axe to chop down trees, but later in the game they can craft a bronze axe that is more efficient. To craft items, you need resources, and for that you need to explore the world and gather the necessary resources. You can obtain them by chopping down trees, mining rocks and ore deposits, hunting animals, fishing, and more. Once players have gathered the necessary resources, they can craft items at various crafting stations, such as workbenches, forges, and tanning racks. Different crafting stations are used to craft different types of items, with more advanced items requiring more specialized stations. All this will encourage players to be creative and try new things, as well as collaborate with other players to share knowledge and resources. Overall, crafting is an essential part of Valheim's gameplay, allowing players to create the tools, weapons, and structures they need to survive and explore the game's vast and challenging world. By gathering resources, unlocking new crafting recipes, and experimenting with different combinations of items, players can build their skills and create increasingly powerful and advanced items. The game has been praised for its unique combat system, which combines elements of both real-time and turn-based combat. It is focused on melee, ranged with bow and casting spells. The players wielding a variety of weapons such as swords, axes, spears, hammers, bows, and wands. Each weapon has its own unique stats, such as damage, speed, and stamina usage, and players can choose the weapon that best fits their playstyle and the situation at hand. Combat in Valheim is quite challenging. Players must pay attention to their positioning, timing, and stamina usage in order to succeed. Dodging and parrying attacks is crucial for avoiding damage and gaining an advantage in combat, while blocking with a shield can help absorb blows and stagger opponents. As we said, every biome has different enemies, and we will see that every enemy has a unique attacks and behaviors, and players must learn to adapt to each enemy's strengths and weaknesses in order to defeat them. And the beautiful thing about the combat is, as you gain experience and level up your combat skills, you will unlock new abilities that can help you in combat. The most challenged fights you will encounter are the boss fights, large and powerful creatures that require teamwork, skill, and preparation to defeat. Each boss has its own unique mechanics and weaknesses, and players must work together and use all of their skills and resources to emerge victorious. Overall, combat in Valheim is challenging and rewarding, with a focus on skill, strategy, timing, precision, and by mastering weapons, learning enemy behaviors, and leveling up combat skills, you can overcome the game's many challenges and emerge victorious. The game's art style is a blend of low poly and hand-painted textures, giving it a distinctive and charming aesthetic. The character models are simple but expressive, with a range of customization options for players to create their own unique Viking characters. The creatures and bosses are also well designed, with detailed animations and unique behaviors that add to the game's sense of immersion. The game features a dynamic and atmospheric soundtrack that changes based on the player's actions and environment. The sound effects are also well crafted, with each action and interaction producing realistic and satisfying sounds. The clanging of swords, the thunk of axes, and the crunch of footsteps on snow all add to the game's sense of immersion and realism. The creatures also have their own unique sounds, with each enemy and boss having its own distinctive growls, roars, and cries. Overall, Valheim's visuals and sound design work together to create a beautiful and immersive world that draws players in and keeps them engaged. Valheim is an excellent survival game that is well worth your time. Its challenging combat, procedurally generated world, and unique Viking setting make it stand out from other games in the genre. In the end, I want to thank you. Keep watching until last and have a good day.